Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This past week, I had two separate requests to investigate two deaths of celebrities from the past. One is Peter Tosh. I'm glad I looked into this. His death is connected to the death of Bob Marley, who I've already done a number of videos on. So we'll talk about Peter Tosh's death, the connection to Bob Marley's passing, and another request was for a different musician, a rapper named Doe B, who I guess was a protege of T.I., more popular commercial rapper. I had never heard about this man or his death before, but I'm glad I was asked this question. I'm going to show you exactly what happened to this young man. All of these deaths are examples of murder by numbers. There's a song recorded in 1983 by the band The Police with Sting, the group that sung Roxanne, and a number of other songs. They have a song from 1983 on their album Synchronicity called Murder by Numbers, and it talks about how simple it is to kill people, to elevate your position in the world, and murder them by the numbers. So we're going to talk about the death of this young man, and then we're going to talk about the Troy Ave and T.I. related concert shooting from close to a year ago now. All of this stuff is interrelated. It's all carried out by the people who control the music recording industry and so much more. In case you're new to my channel, these are ongoing things that I talk about all the time. To gain more information, watch more of my videos. The more you watch, the more clear this study becomes. But anyhow, we're going to begin with Peter Tosh. He was the second most famous man in the Wailers, behind Bob Marley. Bob Marley, part of the Wailers. In 1974, Bob Marley went solo. Bob Marley would die 7 years later in 81. Peter Tosh would die a little bit later in 87. And before I get into this, I should let you guys know I am showing off on purpose my piece of artwork in the background. I forgot I had this, Truth Seeker. This was given to me for free when I was 21 years old. And I used to have it up on my apartment wall the whole time I lived in downtown Seattle. I had it in this house when I first moved in here, but my ex-girlfriend didn't like it, and I had to store it away. And anyway, it's amazing how you can forget things that you really enjoy from your past. So I just got this back, and I'm happy to have it back. So I'm showing it off for this video, you know. Anyway, Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh died too young, died by the numbers. He was born October 19th, 1944. Born in Jamaica, dead in Jamaica. And notice he died on September 11th, 1987. A date that became a lot more infamous 14 years later, but a date that has a lot of history. If you go back through the history books and look up important September 11ths in history, it'll blow your mind. Anyhow, his date of birth, 10/19 as we write it in the US, 1019. In numerology, zero is not worth anything, so it's 119. The date he died, 911, the same set of numbers, 911, 119. These are numbers of Saturn. Saturn to the occult is the keeper of time, and we're going to talk about Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, Doe B, and understand so many more people have died by the numbers of Saturn. So, in Francis Bacon gematria, the name Saturn equals 119. Words such as all-seeing eye, Star of David, master plan, foundation, and more have gematria of 119. His birth numerology, he has a life lesson number of 47. We'll talk about how 47 is relevant to Bob Marley. And time, the word time equals 47. Saturn is the keeper of time. The date Peter Tosh died, September 11th, 1987. Again, it has that 119 sequence like Saturn. Notice it was also a date with 45 and 126 numerology, the date he passed. His name in gematria sums to 45 and 126. And the thing about 45 is there's something called the magic square of Saturn. The magic square of Saturn has a sum of 45. Talk about Bob Marley and 45, his Miami death. He was also born in 45 plus more. The date he died was also a date with 20 numerology. The word death has gematria of 20 and 38. He died exactly 38 days before his upcoming birthday. He died at the age of 42. Number stamped on black people throughout history connected to the name Whalers. He would have turned 43 years old 38 days later. Again, death has gematria of 20 and 38. He died on a date with 20 numerology. The word killing has gematria of 38, as well as 74. The name Marley sums to 74, who started his solo career in 74. We'll get to that. Notice the name Whalers in gematria sums to 33, and with the S exception, 42, like the most hateful word for black people, like the slang term brothers, like the word history, like the word February, the only month that has 42 gematria, Black History Month. In South Africa, the word is kafir, the most hateful word, which has gematria of 33 and 42. When you write out the numbers 5 and 9, they're the only two single digits that sum to 42, and it's interesting that 5 and 9 make up the number 59, the other number stamped on black people throughout history. Rasta, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, they were Rastas, Rastafarians. Rasta sums to 59, like blues, like Negro, like slave. Motown Records came out in 59. Think about how Jackie Robinson wore the number 42 and was called up to the big leagues in the year 47. I mentioned how 47 represents time, doing things by the numbers of Saturn and time, in this numerical occult language known as gematria. This language I'm showing you, it's thousands of years old. The English alphabet is based on it. The English alphabet, the reason it's the language of the world, the growing language of the world, is because it's the language of the New World Order, which is a Masonic world order. The Freemasons pride themselves on being the keepers of knowledge. This is old world knowledge used in real time, coded within our English language, and it's been kept a secret to us all this time. From his date of death to his upcoming birthday, Peter Tosh, was also a span of 39 days. It was 38 days later, or a span of 39 days, if you count the date he died. Notice that Rastafari and Bob Marley both sum to 39. Peter Tosh, connected to Bob Marley through the Whalers, dead at 42. Again, Whalers 42. There's a reason Jackie Robinson wore 42. Can't emphasize it enough. So now let's talk about Bob Marley in regards to Saturn. Peter Tosh died by the numbers of Saturn. So did Bob Marley. Bob Marley's full name is Robert Nesta Marley. Robert's a name with 33 gematria like Whalers. Common name in show business. 211 is an interesting number because it's the 47th prime number. And again, 47 represents time. 211, 47 paired together often. Prime number relationship, so important in this study. Bob Marley, his name in gematria sums to 93 using the alphabetic order and 590 in Jewish format. We just talked about how Rasta was 59, 590, 0 doesn't really count. But notice how Bob Marley is also 93 like Saturn, and in Jewish gematria, Saturn, the keeper of time, is 511. Bob Marley died May 11th, 5/11, a lot like 511, you see? Donald Trump, the 45th president, 45, the magic square of Saturn, his campaign lasted exactly 511 days to be president. All planned, all scripted, under this same Masonic order. Bob Marley, his solo career also began in 1974. Bob equals 19, Marley 74. Like the year of his solo career beginning, you know? From his birthday, February 6th, to his death, he died at age 36, was a span of 95 days, the reflection of 59. Again, 59, Rasta, blues, Negro, slave. Bob Marley equals Rastafari. 59, the reflection of 95. He had 27 birth numerology. You know about the 27 clubs. The 27 club and the musicians who died early. After 27, the next number to have 9 numerology is 36, the age Bob Marley died at. 27 is 2 plus 7 equals 9. 36 is 3 plus 6 equals 9. 9 represents completion. Part of the reason the 27 club is what it is. If you find the birth numerology of almost every musician who's died at age 27, you will see that they have 27 birth numerology. The date Bob Marley died, the numerology was 26. That's the God number. The English alphabet is 26 letters. The word God has gematria of 26. In Hebrew, an ancient alphabet built on numbers as well, God equals 26. Bob Marley, he was also born in 45, Sum of Magic, Square of Saturn, 45, and he died in Miami. Miami with the 45 gematria. A lot of suspicious deaths in history in Miami. So that was 1981 and 1987. Bob Marley in 81, Peter Tosh in 87. All throughout history, this has been going on. That song from the Police, 1983. Here's 2013. This is the death of a young rapper, upcoming. He was 22 years old. He was supposed to put out his first album the next year. He was connected to T.I., who was already a celebrity. This death came 3 months and 3 days after T.I.'s 33rd birthday. And 33, number of masonry, number of sacrifice. There's a reason Jesus died on the cross at age 33 in the Bible. Let's get into this. This man, Doe B, he was born June 13th, 1991, dead December 28th, 2013, in a reported shooting at a club, which also resulted in the club being permanently shut down. The date this young man died was a date with 73 and 46 numerology. The word sacrifice has gematria of 46 and 73. And from his birthday to the date he died was 199 days. That's the 46th prime number. So dead on a date with a life lesson number of 46, 73 numerology. And a lot of numerologists hate my videos when they watch them because they go, you're an idiot. Numerology is single digits. 46 is just 4 plus 6 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. 73 is just 7 plus 3 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So anyway, if you're one of those people watching, I know that, okay? Everybody knows that. That's basic knowledge that won't really get you that far. You see what I'm showing you, you will understand how people are being murdered by the numbers and what the full code is. Yeah, breaking it down to a single digit, that's important. But I just, I should address that more. It's just that I addressed these things when I started this video channel 3 years ago. And, who's going to go back and watch from the beginning? But just understand, I can't cover every single point in every single video. The point is, you see the full number and what it all comes back to, it's not hard to see. These number patterns repeat on throughout history beyond even murder by numbers. Let's take the world of professional athletics and Tom Brady's scripted NFL career. A mediocre athlete made to be the golden boy of the puppet show NFL. Tom Brady was the 199th pick overall out of Michigan. Michigan equals 46. So does Patriots, who he got drafted by. All throughout Tom Brady's career, the number 46 has been significant. So these prime number relationships, understanding what the full meaning of the full number is, more relevant than just reducing to a single digit and then going to your numerology chart and going, oh, 1 represents this. I mean, that is interesting, but it's not going to show you as much as what I'm showing you by looking at the full number. This is the hidden knowledge. Also, something I routinely talk about is how Google purposefully picks images for Wikipedia, or Wikipedia and Google both do this. They both use images often with specific dates, specific things shown that are paying tribute very often to Freemasonry. In this case, they show this rapper with the Alabama State hat. We'll talk about his one eye symbolism as well. But Alabama State has some familiar Masonic gematria. Freemason equals 96. You know, the 33's right there. This young man who died, he was in Hustle Gang, which sums to 42, like whalers, the number stamped on black people. He was 22 years old. His name was Glenn Thomas. Dobie, Glenn Thomas. Thomas 22. Glenn Thomas happens to sum to 47. Special number. A lot of things that are important sum to 47. Foundation equals 47. The Freemasons have something called Euclid's 47th problem about how to establish a perfectly square foundation for a building. Euclid's 47th problem in Gematria, foundations 47, framework 47, authority 47, time 47. With regards to him dying at 22 and having the real last name Thomas, 79 is the 22nd prime number, and the word murder 79. His rap name Dobie has gematria of 17, like kill, like Mason. I have no doubt this guy was a Masonic sacrifice for T.I.'s illegitimate career. Isn't T.I. such a no talent? I've never understood how anybody's into his music. He's a horrible rapper. Just for all of you T.I. fans, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but he's just such a shining example of what's wrong with music. I don't know how music went so bad from the 90s to the present. It's crazy. The end of the 90s, it started to get bad, and it's just been like a roller coaster straight down. It's like overproduced sound and no talent. And there's always some exceptions. I mean, some of you are like, what about this person? Yeah, you're right. There's some people, but I mean, just most of the stuff on the radio is just such trash. And the message is just gone. The message is bankrupt these days. Anyhow, this young man, he died in Montgomery, Alabama. I want to point out that, you know, we talked about the sacrifice connection. Sacrifice also has gematria 55, like Montgomery. The word Satan sums to 55. 55 is a really special number. It is the 10th Fibonacci number. 55's numerology is 5 plus 5 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. Also, if you count every number 1 through 10 and add them together, they sum to 55. Plus, it's the 10th Fibonacci number. If you don't know the Fibonacci numbers, it's just such a shame that people don't know these things. These are like the things that are actually interesting about mathematics in this world that they could have taught us as children that would have made these things intriguing to us. The reason we don't know about this knowledge is because it's relevant, and we're not to know the things that are important. If you do not know what the Fibonacci numbers are, I'm just going to spell it out up here. Fibonacci, like that. Fibonacci. Look that word up, Fibonacci. This killing, it happened in Montgomery, Alabama, gematria of 68. 1968, very fateful year. MLK assassinated Bobby Kennedy. 911 made the national emergency dialing code. So much more. Caskets often go 6 feet deep, are 8 feet long. 68. The reflection of 86, 86th to get rid of. This shooting, though, it happened at the Centennial Hill Bar and Grill. And after this shooting, it was shut down forever. Do you see the gematria? 119. The Centennial Hill Bar and Grill. That special number. Connected to so many deaths, so many tragedies. So T.I., this happened in 2013. This happened December 28th, 2013. This article was written 2 days after. In 2013, T.I. turned 33. He was born in 1980, so he had just turned 33 on September 25th. From September 25th to the day his protege died, 3 months and 3 days after being 33. 33, the number of sacrifice. Bob Marley also died 94 days after his birthday, or a span of 95 days, like I showed you. Same pattern for Bob Marley, too. And this guy was part of the Hustle Gang. Another musical act with 42 stamped on it. Again, Motown came out in 59. Jackie Robinson wore 42. Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year, February 28th, the awkward month. Black History Month, February 42. History 42. Zionism 42. So to wrap this up, last year, 2016, at a T.I. concert, there was a shooting. Troy Ave ended up being arrested and then suing. The details of this were very familiar. They said there was a 33-year-old shooter, talked about it happening in the green room, a color that connects back to 33. At the time, this article was very interesting to me because they showed several photos of who was there, and I noticed out of all the photos shown, only 2 NFL teams were shown, the Indianapolis Colts and the New York Giants. And some research that I was doing showed that there very well might be a New York Giants and Colts Super Bowl. And I thought that that would be for this upcoming season, which didn't happen. But just remember that I saw this combo. It's still a Super Bowl that could happen in the future. I could have been a couple seasons early. Sometimes they give the predictive programming for these things well before they happen. You know, we've been there before. But notice, here in this picture, they're talking about this is where the man was shot dead in this room with the black and white checkerboard floor. That's a Masonic signature. Masonic temples with their black and white checkerboard floors. This is what it is. Freemasonry, Zionism, running the recording industry. False Jews controlling the people who biblically appear to be the real Jews. The real Jews in the Bible have dark skin. The people we call Jewish, they have light skin. In the end of the Bible, it says the false Jews will rule in the end times. And you got to wonder, you know, who stamped all of these numbers on black people throughout history and why? Gematria, a Jewish practice, a known practice by Freemasonry. This Troy Ave lawsuit made me laugh because it became 74 days after the incident, the news of the lawsuit. Number often paired with 33. Freemasonry, Masonic 74. Again, we started with Marley. Marley 74. His solo career began in 74. Rapper 74. Jewish 74. Occult 74. Yeah, I have a video on this if you want to go back and look at all this information. There's a lot that was interesting about this T.I. related shooting. Just like how T.I. is connected to the death of this young man. Glenn Thomas, Dobie. So yeah, I think we covered it all, Truth Seeker. Oh yeah, you know, for all of you who follow my work just for the sports knowledge, again, this is what I was looking at this year. This man who had this hat on in the shot, his name is Uncle Murda, which has gematria of 112, like Houston, like Andrew Luck, like Horseshoe. And this year, the Colts played 112 days from the Super Bowl in Houston, who hosted the Super Bowl. Andrew Luck from Houston. His father played for the Houston Oilers. So I'm telling you, they were dropping the clues all year that this could go on. But you know what else? For those of you who've been following me for the beginning, remember the season of Super Bowl 49? All year, I was talking about how they were dropping major clues for the Colts and who went on to win the Super Bowl that year. The Patriots. Just like how this year, dropping clue all season for the Colts, and the Patriots went on to win. And as I explained when I began, there's some relationship between the Colts and Patriots. I mean, think about how the faces of the league for more than a decade were the quarterback of the Colts and the Patriots, Manning and Brady. So, you know, live and learn. But like I said all season, there's one other QB who has a 112 name gematria, and his name's Matt Ryan. And he ended up in the Super Bowl. As I said, he very well might be. Told everybody the Falcons were worth a bet. And I told everybody all year, if it wasn't going to be the Colts, it would be the Patriots. So all sorts of knowledge with this numbers. Things to check up on, figure out what's going on. Part of the point I was making back then is that these shootings oftentimes are staged to keep these narratives going in the media, gun violence, needless shootings, crime, incarceration. You know? People become more interested when it involves celebrity, even when there are no talents like T.I. I mean, just think about it. Bob Marley's a real talent. Amazing voice, amazing writer. If he wrote his own songs. I think he definitely wrote his early songs. But I mean, just think about it. Bob Marley to T.I. The talent, the quality is going down, but the murder rituals, they're not changing. So please help spread this knowledge, so we can put an end to the madness, Truth Seeker. Until next time.